prepare and to starting off with a draw, which we managed to draw. It wasn't a convincing draw from our side. It was more of not letting the opposition win, and from there on we turned things around. So I think that took a lot of character, and the team is in a different mind space ever since that first game in Rajkot, and the character that they showed, winning 4-0 from there on. The mindset has been different. So we come into the series much more confident and much more sure about us as a squad and what we want to do. We don't tend to focus too much on the opposition. At the same time, we respect them as much. As I said in the last game as well, we respected Bangladesh equally. And for us, every opposition has to be respected on equal terms. There's no higher or lower, in the order. We just want to focus on our skills and play good cricket out there.
Sir?
Steve Smith is considering playing the first getter after the wicket out there, which could mean something like Josh Hazel misses out. How would that, would that suit you? Would you feel better about taking on the tackle with one of their front line?
As I said, we're not worried about the opposition's combinations or what they want to come up with. We are pretty comfortable what we want to do, and with our preparations, we are very sure of how we want to go about this game and this series. So that's been our strength, that we haven't focused on the opposition too much. We are aware of their skills, their positive and negative points, but that doesn't mean that we're going to wait for the opposition to come out with the 11 and then decide how we want to play. We have a certain preparation that we've done, and we have a good headspace going into the series. Everyone's feeling confident, and that's the most important thing. If you're not feeling good mentally, you could have any combination you're up against, or you could play with any combination that won't work. So I think we're in a good space as a team, and we're not really bothered about the opposition too much.
Sir?
How do you deal with so much spotlight? It's just on you and just one aspect of it. How do you deal with it?
I don't deal with it. I don't pay attention to it, so there's nothing to deal with. I do my job on the field. I play a certain brand of cricket which I've always played. Obviously, with age, you tend to understand things better, and you become more aware of what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. A lot of people lacked a lot of patience with me initially. They wanted me to be a 35-year-old mature guy when I was 22, which doesn't really happen. So I've gone through my gradual process. I'm pretty confident of where my game stands, and I'm pretty comfortable with myself as a person now. So see, people writing articles or speaking about certain things, that's their job. I have no control over it. They have to write or criticize or not criticize. That's not in my control. I focus on my game, and that's a priority for me.
Sir?
Virat, actually the debut, the captain was against Australia, and now from Australia to Australia, how do you think you have evolved as a captain, and what do you think Australia is completing the season?
I don't judge myself after every series. Priority and the only goal that we have is to win games of cricket for the country, and that's something that we always focus on. Captaincy will only be as good as how your team performs and how consistent the players are. If we are not playing to our potential as players, there's not much I can do as captain. So I think it's a give and take. The more the team becomes mature, the captain starts looking good. If the team doesn't do well, the captaincy bit seems out of control. So that's a very natural process, and I've said this before, maybe 5, 6, 8 years down the line, I'll be able to judge myself as a captain, if I remain captain for that long. How I've gone through the process, how I've learned or matured or made mistakes, or what are the things that I've done well or haven't done well. I think 18 months or 20 months is a very short span to have a judgment on that, because we have to play a lot of cricket yet. And this I feel personally is too early for me to sit down and judge what I've done well or haven't. The prime focus remains to win games, and we do anything in our preparation to be able to achieve that.
Sir?
How are you expecting this to play?
It's Pune, even the one-day games that we played here, the surface was dry underneath, It had a decent coverage of grass, which you need to keep for the surface to hold itself together. This time of the year when the summer comes in, the wicket tends to get slower and lower. So that's what we expect from this wicket as well. We expect it to turn a bit as well from whatever, day 2, day 3, whatever it is. But yeah, in general, it's going to be a very basic Pune wicket, what we always expect during summertime, because it gets very hot and dry, and it's very difficult to keep the wicket together. So we understand exactly how the wicket is going to play out.
Last fight, sir.
We have just two questions. The first is Daniel Lemon, the first press conference, he said it's not only the experience but also the pace back. He said they don't get doing well. And how much do you think they've lifted themselves as a group in the last 2 series? New Zealand too. England collapsed 2 or 3 times coming from Bangladesh. Do you think this Australian team is capable of dealing with situations better?
Answering your first question, I think the Pacers have stood out. I mentioned this before, we've discussed it, that people who have standout performances are the ones in the limelight, but guys who have important contributions, especially with the ball, are the ones who take those important 1 or 2 wickets in between the innings to give the spinners a bit of rest and then come back and attack again. And I think the pace bowlers have been able to do that. And one reason for that is they're very comfortable in the roles they've been given, and they've been really happy with bowling in one areas for longer periods of time and not get desperate for wickets. I think that's been the most important thing, to run in hot conditions, not necessarily having the plan to attack all the time can be difficult when you have to bowl dot balls and the batsman's not going to get out if he keeps leaving the ball. But that takes character, and the players have bought into it, and that's one reason for our success as well. People are playing selfless cricket, and the fast bowlers have been, the prime contenders for that. And the way they've stood out during the England series and against Bangladesh as well, just now in Hyderabad, Umesh, Ishant, Bhuvi, all 3 of them, even against New Zealand, important contributions throughout the series. So yeah, it's been a massive factor for us in winning those series. Secondly, I think we thought even England was a top quality side with a lot more experience than what Australia has right now. But we learned that if we had sustained pressure maintained on the opposition for long enough, especially in these conditions, it will get difficult for them, and that's something that we focused on then, and that's something that we are going to focus on now as well. As I said, we're not going to sit here and judge or focus on how good or how weak the players can be. We just want to execute our skills and make sure that we have that pressure relentlessly on the opposition all the time throughout the test match.
Last quote, sir.
Mitchell Starc, he's a world-class bowler, we all know that. He's been hampered with injuries quite often. But, the way he's evolved as a bowler, I think it's been outstanding. I've played with him in the IPL. I've faced him in my first tour to Australia. From then to now, it's a massive change, and the way he's learned the art of reverse swing and bowling, with the old ball as well, is quite amazing to see. The way he's developed his skills, and that's something that every cricketer in the world would admire. Like you admire world-class batsmen, you admire world-class bowlers as well, and you respect their skills. And Mitchell is one of them. He's really taken his game to the next level, and that's why he's counted amongst the top bowlers in world cricket, and he deserves to do that. He deserves to be there because he's worked really hard for that, and the results are evident.
Everyone talks about the pairs of pacers, openers, and spinners, but the coach and captain, that player and captain is going to be the coach of coach. So you were associated with Kohli, how it has helped you mature into the controlled aggression as in Kohli's effect?
To an extent, yes. I was working on those things already on a constant basis. As I said, I wanted to learn from my mistakes and evolve as a person. Anil Bhai coming into play obviously channeled it much better in terms of his experience, and he was a very aggressive player in his head as well. But he knew when to use that aggression and how to channel it. So yeah, he's helped me in that aspect a little bit. Apart from that, I think what he's really brought into the side is the mindset of taking wickets as bowlers. And he was a spinner, but he used to think like a fast bowler. He was that aggressive with his thinking, and that's why he ended up taking so many test wickets, highest number of test wickets for India. And he was an out-and-out match winner, and the mindset obviously rubs onto the players in the change room as well, and there's so much to learn from him, especially for the bowlers, the way he thought about getting batsmen out and the way he used to set them up. And at the same time, the way he worked on his skills and his fitness as well. So everyone takes a lot of inspiration from him. He's been a legend of Indian cricket, and we're really glad to have him in the change room.
Last week, sir.
Virat, you talked about Mr. Starc. Can you elaborate slightly, share how you specifically, not just in the team, what is kind of fast bowling? And the second thing is, are you being surprised, even though you said that you don't focus on the opposition, are you being surprised that the Australians back from these spinners instead of fast bowlers as they?
No, I'm not surprised. Obviously, coming to India, playing in summers, when wickets are meant to be dry and they're meant to turn, you will have a stronger spin bowling attack than getting 6-7 fast bowlers with you on tour. That's a pretty natural selection. Secondly, as I said, we are aware of the skills and the weak points of every player in the opposition, but it's not something that we sit down and we speak about, or we focus on too much on a regular basis. So there's nothing much to elaborate. I mean, if you're good enough on the day, you're able to perform well. If you're not having a good day, you might be the best player or the best bowler in the world, you might not have your day as well. So it all depends on how an individual or a player is feeling in his head on that particular day, and that's all that we want to focus on.
Last one, sir.
Ever since these Aussies have come up, every bowler has been praising you, 50 overs match, very natural opportunity of you. Even the Super also has said there's a bunch of mind changing posters at the end of Australia. What's happening? How are you viewing at this? Do you think it is out front? What are you doing for this?
See, I'm really good friends with all these guys off the field. I know them really well, but I know where to draw the line of friendship, and when you step onto the field, I could be playing against my real brother, it doesn't matter. So it's fine. I mean, if they had to criticize me, I would have been okay with it. It's not something coming out of my mouth, so I have no control over it. As I said, I'm pretty focused, and I'm very aware of what I need to do as a player on the field, and what my team needs to do on the field to win test matches and test series. So I mean, I don't know the reason behind it. There might not be any reason. I don't want to sit here and speculate, but I can say I'm really good friends with these guys off the field. We get along really well, and on the field we're professional enough to understand that it will be a competition, but off the field we're really comfortable with each other.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.